Everybody, maybe we're 31 back here for FSI DFS. We have another monster slate here. No more nickel and diming us. Just like Friday, we've got all 15 games playing. St. Louis has a double header today against Pittsburgh. So that game is on DK. It's not on FanDuel. So FanDuel only has a 14 game one. So I'm not going to do the normal go through every single game. There's no weather concerns other than it's very hot and wind blowing out in Chicago. So I'm just going to go over some pictures I like quick. You can see everything. I broke down all 30 teams and tried to rank them in different groups for you here. So you can obviously just pause the video and look it over and see what you think, and then I'll just go through the breakdowns quick. But I just want to let you know these breakdowns are just a couple examples. There are so many ways to go on such a large slate tonight. So obviously Garrett Cole's going to be the top pitcher. People are going to be kind of hesitant. He gave up like 5 home runs and only made like 2 innings last time. I think the weather factored into that mostly. Has a really good matchup today, and I think that he will against Tampa Bay, who's still missing some players out of the offense. So I think he's fine. He's expensive though, so it's going to be hard to get him in. Manaea, I thought he's only 8.5 here, so I accidentally put him in the high stack because I assumed he'd be more expensive. He's got a great matchup against the Cubs, but again, with wind blowing off 20 miles per hour and being like 90 degrees in Chicago, it's going to be very risky. So I wouldn't play him in cash. Fried gets a good matchup against Washington, but I don't know if he's going to get a ton of strikeouts there. Gilbert is a GPP, and Webb faces Kansas City. So I think there's your high options, but I think most people are going to be hammering like this mid-range here. And I think Cisse, who gets, I believe, Detroit, and Pivetta, who gets Oakland. So both of them get pretty much like the worst teams in baseball. They're in the mid-range, they're decent plays. So I think you could look at either one of those guys. If you want to pivot off there, Kikuchi gets Baltimore. I think he's decent there. Also, like the other two at top, definitely more. Mikolas gets a matchup against Pittsburgh in the second half of the doubleheader, so there might be even more watered down lineup there, so that might be a good play. And then Bassett gets Milwaukee, who can be tough at times, but I think they're better versus left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching, so I think that's a decent mid-range there. Some of the cheaper guys you might consider a little bit riskier. Eflin, he gets Miami. He's been okay this season. Again, we're looking at pivots here off of like probably where most people are going to go, which is probably going to be like a Cole Cisse, a Cole Pivetta, one of those two builds. Miley's decent too against Arizona. Last night, Kelly had some success against him there. On the other side of it, Davies against Cincinnati could definitely be a decent one. Rogers is very risky. He's only 6'3". I think GPPs, if you want to take a dart on somebody, he did have a decent game against the Phillies, I believe. If not, I looked at the Phillies at home against left-handed pitching throughout the season, and they're top 10 in strikeouts and not great at WOBA. So I think definitely Rogers is very risky here, but I think if you're trying to take down a tournament or something, if you want to find like a cheap SP2, that if he gets you like 12 points, that's all you need, kind of 12 to 13 points to kind of pay off what you're looking for there. Urquidy gets Texas, which he did have 10 Ks against them at one point this season, but has his struggle also. So I think that pretty much breaks down pitching. Like I said, you see the fade list there. Most of those guys not interested in, and then there's decent guys out there like Kluber. Like Bieber's a good pitcher, but he's pitching at Coors Field. Gosling's been solid, but he's just like compared to the others at 9K range, I like them better. Dunning gets Houston, who doesn't strike out, and Syndergaard gets the Dodgers. So kind of not interested in those, and the rest of the guys are fade just because they're bad or in really bad matchups. So I think the top stack on the slate is going to be Atlanta. We were looking at him yesterday against Gray, but the weather pushed back his start to today. The only bad thing is that Albies got injured. He's probably not going to be in the lineup at second base. So I still like Acuna, definitely Olsen, I think, is one of the best plays there. Lefty matchup there. And then, the Braves are a really good team. You probably look at some of the guys like Make Harris at the bottom, who do a wraparound stack there as a lefty. Toronto definitely matches up great against Lyles also. It's very hard to get them in, even if you take like the two 8K pitchers on DK, just because of their pricing. So you probably get a 4-man stack, but you can't get the catcher, and so you have to punt there and then maybe take a cheaper piece in that. San Diego, absolutely love. St. Louis, again, we'll just have to see what the lineup is, because the second half is doubleheader. It's not on FanDuel. And then the Yankees, I mean, they're in a great spot too, but probably lowest ownership of the top stack. Boston's very intriguing. What you could do with Boston also is if you can stack the bottom, because you're really looking at the righties, and they have a cheap guy potentially leading off there. That's probably minimum price on both sites if he's there. Maybe Arroyo will be up there, but Dahlbeck is down there, so you can do like a cheap, like right-handed kind of wraparound stack there and make that work. Love the White Sox righties. San Francisco against Bubik. The Dodgers are always a good stack to have in a GPP, especially with stolen base upside against Syndergaard, who can't hold runners on, and then Minnesota. Cheap. It's kind of ironic saying like Coors team is cheap, but Cleveland, if you look at a lot of the pieces besides Jose Ramirez, they're like 4K guys, and there's some guys that are like down in like the 3K range. So they're definitely a stack that you can make that's reasonable. Baltimore's cheap. I like Arizona righties because Molly's been a little bit reverse splitsy this year. Milwaukee and Washington both have some cheap pieces also. Your leverage stack is going to be definitely the Cubs if people are going to play Manaea, especially with the win there. Colorado and Coors against Bieber, who's a decent pitcher, who could, even though the weather's going to be warm, wind's blowing in like 11 miles per hour, so that might help a little bit, but I have to check because wind could change and blow out there. Tampa Bay, if you think Cole's going to struggle again, and then Detroit and Kansas City are going to be up against popular pitchers too. So you can see the guys that I have in 150 max, and I'm not interested in Texas, Miami, Oakland, Pitt, or the Angels today. So let's just open up these lineups and we'll get you on your way here. I had since the 15 slate, there's a black line there because I had to add an extra line on the bottom just to get all the pitchers and the stacks in. So just ignore that there. I'm not like trying to hide something. It's just the way the spreadsheet works out here with the spacing. So DK cash, I'm going to take Pivetta and Cisse, like I said. I'm going to stack the Padres here. Hosmer, he's got the splits advantage. Voigt's could be at first base also, but I want to go down a little bit lower in the stack to try to match up, because Mazara's probably going to hit 6th or 7th, and he's almost mid-price. If he's in there, he is a great play on the slate. So Profar, Machado, Cronenworth, and this build does, if you punt catcher here, it does give you enough to get, you might be able to get like Turner and Betts in here. You might be able to get Bichette and like Timo Hernandez in here with a cheap punt catcher. So you can take two decent pitches, maybe. I don't think you can get like Swanson, Acuna, but you could probably get like Swanson and maybe like Ozuna or something. I didn't look at the Atlanta, but there's lots of ways to go. Or you drop one of the guys from the stack here from San Diego and put in like another one, and you can go like a 3-4 there, and then just punt catcher. On DK, you can go, or sorry, FanDuel, you can go Cisse here, but I could get a full Toronto and San Diego stack in. I was like $100 short from getting up to Cisse, but if one of these guys are out, or if I find something else, then I might change and put him in. But I think Pivetta or Cisse, you can't go wrong either way there. But again, Hosmer, Vlad at first place, Cronenworth, Machado, Bichette, Tio Hernandez, if pay down for Mazara or up for Profar or whatever works in your build. And then I'd continue just to fill it out, finish it off with Toronto and San Diego and make the stack work. And the reason that maybe I'll move Cisse over is because in this one, for FanDuel, I'll start with there in the GPP. Since I'm talking about that, I'm taking Cleveland. I really wanted to take like Jimenez, and just because the debate's going to come down when you look at your your shortstop and second base, because you got guys that are available on most sites and both between like Jimenez and Rosario, but Rosario's not hitting for any power, and Jimenez is hitting well and has home runs, and Oscar Gonzalez is only like 2.9, especially on DK, and he's cheap on FanDuel also. He's hitting like 400 this year. He doesn't have any power, but if he at least get on base and like generate points that way, or maybe some of those singles turn to doubles, or maybe if he hits the ball right in course in the air, it goes out of this. So I think I really like him as one of the fill-ins too. And on this one, I'm going to stack the right-handers of the White Sox. So I'm definitely going to be looking at Pollock or Vaughn there. Reese Snyder from Boston is a really cheap guy, so I'm going to take him as a one-off there at minimum price if he's leading off. So I can use Cisse because I'm going to have to take a one-off, and then like going to fill out my outfielders with either Cleveland or White Sox guys, and then you probably in utility want a White Sox right-hander, just whoever fits in your lineup there. It could be Beers if he's back in the lineup. He was like injured, Luis Roberts, Abreu, somebody like that. Going back to the DK GPP, I'm going to Cole and Manea here. I did consider maybe dropping down to Rogers because it's a GPP and taking a shot there to get better bats in. But if you play Mazzara here, if he is in and he's like at minimum price, then you can pretty much get a full stack in. And again, your decision is going to come down with who you want to take with either Rosario or Gonzalez in the stack. I'm kind of leaning Gonzalez just on his average. Or Jimenez on his average there. Gonzalez, if you want to play him in outfield, I might actually play him over Straw there. But you know, there's the decision to where, but I definitely want to try to get 5 of the Cleveland guys in there. And if it comes down to between Rosario and Jimenez, I like Jimenez more for the power there. So I think that's pretty much where we're going. Again, a lot can change when you have this many teams playing. You know, hopefully there's no COVID outbreaks or like weather change or anything. So check back the video around 6:30. If anything major changes, we'll put some notes in the comments. You can always ask questions down there. You can hit me up at MegaWarrior31. I've had, I think, 10 new follows in the last couple of weeks. It's been great. People have reached out and have like simple questions. Again, I can't approve like everybody's line every single time. You know, that's why, you know, if you we're not allowed to give out full lines anyways. So, you know, you can sign up for FSI DFS and we can do one-on-one coaching for you. But if you have like simple questions, like that's what we're here for. We're definitely going to try to help you out. So put them in the chat, hit me up on Twitter, MegaWarrior31, see what you, see what we can do for you there. If you need more in depth, then go to the details of the video, and the pricing for FSI DFS is very, very reasonable. So check it out, go to our website. You can see what our different packages are. We have covered so many different sports and have a lot of great programs out there. So appreciate you watching this video as always, taking some time to, you know, look at some baseball, and looks like an exciting night. Like I said, I'll probably have way too many lineups in there just because there's so many juicy choices and ways to go. So again, appreciate you watching. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel so you know when it's coming out. We only need about, I think, 5 more to be at 3,500. So if spread the word, get some people, like, you know, that'd be cool to hit that in the next couple of weeks here. So if you can help us with that, really, really appreciate that. It's just hitting one button, just hit the subscribe. You'll know when our videos are coming out. You become part of our YouTube community here. So thanks again for watching. I'm MegaWarrior31. Good luck in your contests, and we'll see you next time.